I'll let you know as soon as you get started. Okay, go ahead and get started.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Holly Presley with Allegiance Title, your preferred title company. I've been with Allegiance Title for 2 years now and in title for 19. I've met some of you before this horrible pandemic started, and looking forward to meeting everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about our company. Our corporate office is located in Dallas, where there are about 23 offices in surrounding areas. The CEO of our company is Don Moore, a leader in Dallas legal and business community for over 35 years, and some of you may have seen her weekly podcast. We have 4 offices in Houston, Harris County, and 1 in Montgomery County in Conroe, which opened a year ago to assist you along with 9 underwriters to make sure we can close all your transactions. So let's get with purpose of a title company and some frequently asked questions. Turn the page, Fernando, please. The purpose of a title company is to make sure that the property and contract is free and clear of any liens or assessments. When a contract is opened in our office, it is sent to our plant to start the process of an O&L search, which is the owner's lien search, verifying that the person in the contract is the correct owner by checking their name, making sure there are no liens or assessments, such as tax liens, HOA liens, IRS liens, or etc., which would need to be resolved before going to closing, except maybe for the existing lien with their mortgage company. The buyers will also be checked out to verify that they also have no debts, liens, in order to prevent them from closing. Sometimes if the seller or buyer's names are very common, like say the last name is Smith, they will be asked to provide correct full name, including middle name, social security number, and address to make sure they are indeed the correct persons. And then they will be asked to sign a not same affidavit at closing. The charges of a title company consist, and this is just for a policy for $180,000. The premium would be $1,253.60, which either would be paid by the seller, the buyer, or even they can split it according to the contract. Escrow fee is $425. Tax preparations, fees of taxes according to the time of year closed. Attorney's fees to prepare the docs usually cost about $250, and tax certification fee is usually about $64, and recording fees can add up to $35 or more depending on how many number of documents there are, such as in a deed of trust if it's lengthy. If a survey is not provided by the seller at the presence of a contract along with a T-47, a lender will ask for a new survey to be ordered. The title company will then proceed to request a new survey, which will be paid by the seller or buyer according again to the contract. The appraisal is ordered by the lender to obtain the value of the property to make sure the buyer's investment. Also, a statement of accounts from the HOA is required in order to obtain an annual assessment fees from the HOA, which is Homeowners Association, and to make sure there are no liens such as the owner in default of fees or in any other violations. Fernando, please turn the page. Once the lender has verified and obtained all the information provided, they will then forward the docs to the escrow officer title company to close. A closing date and time will be set, and all parties called or emailed. The buyer must bring a cashier's check or can wire funds at a time along with an ID, a driver's license, social security number, an ITIN number, a passport, or a matricular card. If a mobile notary is needed, the cost will usually be $200, which will be charged to either side, either the seller or the buyer, whoever requesting, especially if they are out of town. If they are in town and circumstances prevent them from coming to the office, we will make every effort to accommodate them in their home, business, or etc. At the moment, we do not have a bilingual person in our office, but anyone, such as their agent, a friend, or family member can accompany and translate. Once all the documents are both parties, docs are sent to the lender for approval. Funding occurs, keys are given to the new homeowner. After closing, deeds, warranty deed, deed of trust are sent to Harris County Appraisal to be recorded to make sure the new homeowner's name is in place. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you. We have some terrific apps which you can send to your sellers or buyers. And these apps, one of them is a net sheet, and it will have your name, your picture on it. And then it has all the breakdown, what the closing costs for a seller to sell their house or a buyer to come to closing with. And I would love to get with each and every one of you and sit down and show you some things. And if you need to contact me, my information's at the bottom, and telephone number 73248-0316. And my email is hpresley@allegiancetitle.com.
Thank you, Holly. If anyone has any questions for Holly, again, she's from Allegiance Title. Please unmute your devices and you can go ahead and ask your question. While we're waiting for that, Holly, regarding the title insurance policy, we keep on hearing as agents about the importance of it, but we're really not sure, just at a high level, what does that do? Is that kind of like a car, like if you have a car wreck insurance kind of thing, or what?
Well, it's just ensuring if you don't close at a title company, we have some people sometimes come to us and they went through attorneys or whatever and just closed, but their documents were never recorded. So we ensure that the property's been checked for no liens or assessments, and our docs are coming from attorneys when they come before we go to closing, so that we know when we go to closing and we record them, that we know that the new buyer's name has been recorded and is intact at the Harris County Appraisal District, so that there will be no issue on it. And we run across sometimes when a document hasn't been recorded or the owner's name hasn't been transferred over.
Now, can someone not have an ID and be able to close at a title company?
They have to have one of the 4 documents that I said. They have to have a social security number, they have to have a driver's license, or they have to have the ITIN and the matricular or a passport. They have to have one of those to close, yes.
Who sets the closing date?
The closing date, once we receive the docs from the lender and everything is in order, then our office, the closer or their assistant, will call the buyer and the sellers and ask them when they would like to close, a date and a time. So we usually try to set, the buyers at one time and sellers come in at, like an hour later from the buyer's closing. And then once everything is funded, then we call everybody and say everything has been funded. And we usually call the buyers back if they're not still at the office and say, we're funded, you can come back and get your keys.
How are you dealing with COVID issue, the COVID requirements at a closing?
Everyone is asked to wear a mask when they come in to closing, and we have plastic shields in our offices, our closing rooms. And after the buyers and sellers leave, we Clorox everything down. That means the tables, the pens, the chairs, everything that they sit in. So there's nothing that's not sterilized when they leave or come in.
Okay, good.
I have a question, please.
Yes, go ahead.
I wasn't sure if you could hear me or not. I'm on my
We can hear
phone.
you
I
now.
usually use.
We can hear you now.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
go ahead. Sherry, right? Go ahead.
A friend. Yes, that's correct. A friend, when I mentioned, that we go use title companies here in Texas, this friend from Wisconsin says, well, they just go to the lawyer when they have farms and ranches that they want to sell. They go to the lawyer and they don't use a title company. I said, well, that doesn't sound right. I mean, it's a safe, secure way for your land to be protected, right, by using a title company. Did I say that right? I may not have.
Yes, you said it right.
But he was just like shocked because he's a big landowner in Wisconsin and said, well, we don't use title companies. They have them, but we just go straight to the lawyer and get the deal done.
Yeah, Holly,
Farms and ranches.
Holly, did you hear that question?
Yes, I heard it. Every state is different. I lived in Louisiana for a long time, and their rules were much different from what we have here in Texas. So if you were to go get your license in Wisconsin, there would be different rules for that. So I don't know what Wisconsin rules are, but every land deal, every farm and ranch, they all use title companies now, but that's here in Texas. So their rules may be different in Wisconsin. I don't know.
Well, he was talking mainly about cash deals, like, so the same would be true though if one paid cash for their farm or ranch, right? Go through a title company, even if it's a
Yes.
cash deal. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Even
that's
if
what I,
use a title company. Yes.
yes.
That's a good
Yeah.
question. Cash or loan? Yes, same process.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And just keep in mind that when I asked that question before, the title insurance policy, that's very important to whenever us realtors do close, that there is title insurance. That way it protects all the parties involved as far as the title insurance policy in case there's any problems. But that's a good question, Sherry. Thank you. Any other
Okay,
questions? Any other questions, guys? We have a title person here, so if you have any questions about title or what you've heard about the title, and what they do and what their purposes are, please go ahead and unmute your phone.
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
You gave an example, Holly, of the fees for a $180,000 house. If the house is substantially more expensive, are the fees substantially more expensive?
They're not substantially more expensive. I'd have to have a rate card in front of me, which I don't. I may have a rate card. Hold on.
This is Fernando. We have a rate card on the church training folder, which I placed in there. I'm one of the mentors, and you can just look at the rate, and it's anywhere from like $0 to $1 million, and each one will show you the actual premium fee for that particular sales price. And then that way you can inform the seller whenever they're planning on selling the property of what the typical premium will be. And that premium is going to be for the entire state of Texas.
Great.
Correct.
But that's a good question. I typically think about a premium, I'm thinking less than 1%, but that's just sort of a ballpark. It's better. Holly, you were mentioning that that app that they can install where it gives them like a seller's net sheet, and that will probably produce the premium charge fee.
Yes, it will come up automatically, and there are different steps in this net sheet process that you can change. You can add a home warranty package to it. You can add repairs to it. You can deduct like a commission if your seller says, I'm looking for a bargain on this. What can you do for me? And I may not be saying that right, but they want you to reduce your commission. You can do it in this net, and their taxes come up, what they balance on it. So by the time you put all of this in here, you can have a net sheet when you go to a listing presentation. It will have your name, your picture on it, and it gives them their name, it gives them their address, and it's very personalized to them. And you can even email it to them or text it before you go to the meeting, and it is delivered to them in less than 5 minutes. It's like 2 minutes, they get it.
And
Same thing for a buyer.
And how can they get a hold of this app? Can they just send you an email or what?
Send me an email. More than happy to set them up and get them going on it. But it's also for buyers. which I find incredibly, if you're having an open house or you're at a house and the buyer says, well, I really don't know if I can afford this. And by the time if you just get a little bit of information from them saying they want their house note at this amount, how much they can put down, 5%, 10%, and they go through conventional, FHA, cash, a refi. By the time they leave the door from the house, you're holding open and get to your car, they've already got it. You send it to them in a text or an email, and it is wonderful.
Thank you. Any other questions? Ensure that your phone is on mute so we can.
Yes, I have another one, Fernando.
Yes, go ahead, proceed.
So, well, I always want to look at past meetings and information, and I have never been able to find them. Where
Yeah.
do what link, or, when I want to review things, can
Yeah,
you
it's in
tell
the,
me?
yeah, it's in the it's in the tour training folder.
And
And
I
and
don't,
you can either send me an email or I'll send you an email or a text, and I can just send you the link for the tour training folder, and in there it has templates for contracts, for the buyer side, seller side, leases. It's got other information in there, tips and tricks, and also has the webinars as well.
but not all of them. Whoops, let me shut this.
Yeah, we have them from 2018. Now there are a few that are missing for 2020, and I've asked the mentors who produced them to go ahead and post them. So yeah, there are a few missing from 2020. Okay, any other questions, guys, so we can wrap it up? Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I'll send an email.
Yeah, do you know my email, Sherry?
I don't, but I have a pen and paper here.
Yeah, you can. It's my last name is Loera, Loera,
Okay,
Loera, and then it's F for Fernando at yahoo.com.
at yahoo.com.
That's it. I'm very
Okay.
simple. I'm a simple person.
Okay, thanks.
Sure. Thank you, Sherry. And I'll be glad to help you with that.
Okay.
I think, okay, everybody's saying thank you, goodbye. Okay. Well, thank you, Holly, for your time. Really appreciate it. I'm going to stop the recording now.